Welcome to another episode of Brothers Arguing Sports. I'm Zav. Across the Zoom is TD. And today's question, should the Nuggets be worried after losing game 2 at home to Miami? TD, before I get to that question, do you want to apologize to the Denver Nuggets for what your prediction at the beginning of the series?
Apologize
to the Miami Heat.
Apologize to the Heat. I think I have to admit, they just everyone keeps waiting for the bubble to burst, and they just keep sticking around. So yeah, I mean,
let's hear
there
it.
comes a time you have to give them their credit as a good basketball team. So I will give them that credit as a good basketball team.
So you were wrong about the Heat. Let's just hear you say it.
I was wrong about them getting swept, yes.
Yes. Okay, good. Glad we got that now. Should the Nuggets be worried? Let's hear it.
Worried is a term that makes you think, oh, wait a minute, we might lose this series. I don't think that feeling is in their head. Now, what they should feel, or what I think they will feel, is they've been alerted that this series is not going to be as easy as they thought or hoped after game 1. And now they've been awoken to the thought that we got to grind this series out. Worried, no. I don't think deep down they think. Worried is a thought that enters your head like, oh God, we could lose this thing. I do not think that's the case.
Well, I disagree with you. I think the Nuggets are favorite, but they are definitely 100% worried. TD, what do we love about the playoffs? What do the playoffs tell us about teams?
They expose all your weaknesses.
Exactly. And what is the Denver Nuggets' weakness? Their defense. Their defense, especially their interior defense. And if you remember, you laughed at me when I said, who did I say was going to have a good series?
Bam Adebayo?
Yup, and Joker's giving him no problem on the offensive end. He is.
Well, the amazing thing about Bam is this series is playing right into his hands because he can't, as a center, he doesn't do what you want a center to do. He doesn't have post moves and everything. But there's one thing he does do well as a center, and that's he drills his free throws, which is so rare.
TD, he's also shooting right over. He's getting a nice little position in the paint and shooting right over Joker.
As the result of being a good free throw shooter, he can hit that little jump shot. That was the point I was getting to.
But he's also setting good screens.
The strength he has is actually he's able to go into that well this series, which is amazing. You got to force him to be a real bully ball center, which he's not good at. Amazingly, they're playing into his one strength here.
No, he's also passing the ball well. He's doing what he usually does, setting screens. He's having a good series. He is having a good series. Joker is not intimidating him whatsoever on the defensive end. Now, what's the other weakness of the Nuggets? Why didn't anybody pick them before the playoffs?
Oh, it's the whole experience thing.
Exactly. They have never been here before. And that inexperience showed in that third quarter when, remember, at the end of the half, the Nuggets were up 8. The Heat came out and squashed that lead, and Malone and the Nuggets panicked. Jokic started bully balling, iso balling, and he scored 18 points in that quarter. He just felt like he had the need to have to take it upon himself and score 18 points.
But
and
did it work? Did it work or not?
It didn't work. You know why?
He scored 18 points.
Yeah. And you know what happened? He was dead tired for the fourth quarter, and the Heat dominated the fourth quarter, where if you look at Jimmy Butler, he played his defense, he passed the ball, and then he was ready for crunch time in the fourth quarter while the Nuggets were tired. I was watching that game. I said, listen, this is not Nuggets ball. And he looked tired, Jokic. It wasn't just easy points. He was barreling to the basket. And he had nothing for that fourth quarter. They were tired in that fourth quarter, and the Heat won that game like they always do. They keep it close. Fourth quarter comes, Jimmy buckets. That's why they should be worried, because the Heat know how to win these games. Spo out-coached Mike Malone, and after the game, you saw a worried coach. He panicked. He was blaming the Nuggets players for their effort. You know why they weren't playing that great of defense? Because they weren't involved in the offense. If you're not involved in the offense, you're naturally going to lose a little bit of concentration and focus. And that's why they weren't closing out on the three. Jokic was tired at the end. Jokic at the end, he was tired. You know how he was tired? What does he like to do when he grabs a defensive rebound?
Oh, he likes to run it up the floor and find his people.
And he wasn't doing that in the fourth quarter. Malone should have recognized what was happening, said, listen, we're still the Nuggets. We're a better team than them. Jokic, we don't need this ISO ball. I'm going to rest you a little bit. I'm going to get other people. All right, I'm going to let Gordon go. I'm going to let Porter Jr. go. These guys score. These are good players. He panicked. They panicked. That's where you have to worry if you're Nuggets, because you just saw the weaknesses there. The Heat know how to win these games. They have a formula. And wow, what a game by Spo. Who dominated the early part of game one?
The early part of game one?
For the Nuggets.
Murray.
Gordon. Do you remember?
Oh, no. The very beginning. Oh, he picked apart Gabe Vincent.
And you know what Spo did?
Yeah, he brought in love.
There you go. Adjustments were made.
Everything you're saying, I think the Heat just stole the game.
They dominated the game, TD.
Stop. Even with all your little, they got rid of the genius. They put in, he put in Kevin Love so that Gordon couldn't dominate. With all these things you're saying, Zab, they were still the better team. They went into the fourth quarter with an 8-point lead. They had this in the bag, Zab.
They didn't have it in the bag.
They had it in the bag. Zab, it got stolen. This game got stolen.
It didn't get stolen. Who came out stronger?
No, this game was in the bag, and Murray actually
wasn't in the bag. TD.
He had a great shot at the end to
How did they
3-point games of at the
how
end.
did they maintain that 8-point lead? If they had it so in the bag, why did Jokic have to go to the well to keep that lead? If they had it in the bag.
They didn't double him and they made him a scorer. But Zab, even him as a scorer, it worked. He scored you said it yourself. How many points did he score in one quarter?
18.
He scored 18 points in a quarter and he's shooting over 50%.
Yeah.
That's good offense.
It's not good offense. When he scores that many points, they lose. Go look at the record. Good offense is when his assist numbers are up. The Heat play disciplined basketball.
I agree with all of this. I know that they lose when he doesn't get 10 assists. I know that they win when he gets assists. And I agree that they took away his passing. But even with that, they still went into the fourth with an 8-point lead. With all the tricks the Heat threw at them, they still had an 8-point lead going into the fourth.
And the Heat won the game. That's the only thing that matters. That's the only thing that matters.
Just like the Celtics took game one in last year's final. They stole it right at game one. They stole it at the end when role players hit threes. Just like in this fourth quarter, Duncan Robinson hit some threes.
And
they stole this game. They almost handed it back. So when I say worried, no. Because they even had this game with all Spo's quote-unquote tricks. But concerned, yes, or woken up, yes, that they cannot switch the gas off and fall asleep like they did in the fourth.
This is a series. I think the Nuggets will win, but you got to be nuts going into this game thinking the Nuggets are just going to roll.
I think you're coming to too many conclusions. What if that shot goes in? What if Murray hits it and they win it?
They go to overtime.
Yeah, and say they win it there.
Yeah.
So many conclusions are coming off a close game that got stolen.
TD, the big word you said is if. If doesn't matter. They lost at home. He'd have home court advantage in a best of 5.
Well, Zab, I actually think the Nuggets actually might lose today or could lose today. They just got to win one of these next two.
Yeah, but
so
this is a very close series then. You're admitting it's a close series. That's my
I said I don't think they're worried they're going to lose. I think they're alerted that they got to work harder than they think they did. And then there's the other aspect which you had brought up. They were due a loss.
I agree
They
with that.
swept the Lakers. They were up. They won game one convincingly. They went into the fourth with a lead at home. I think they just fell asleep.
I think there was more if you watch that game closely. The Nuggets did not look good, TD. The Heat dominated the first quarter.
Spo outcoached them in that fourth quarter. They saved that zone for the fourth quarter.
Exactly. That's my whole point.
I agree.
That's my point.
I agree. The good coaching allowed them to steal the game. But that's just that coaching edge won't sustain a 7-game series. It'll help you steal a game, which I believe it did, because they throw that zone and they don't use it and they trick you, and all it needed was that little burst to get rid of the lead and then take one. But that was great coaching. But great coaching will let you steal a game. I don't think, and I think the Nuggets know that. They got had by yes, the Heat's know-how. And by the way, the stats of the Heat, they're plus 80 in the fourth quarter this playoffs.
Yeah.
Like that experience we talked about, the great coaching, all of that, I think enabled them to win the game, but not necessarily be overall the better team.
I know, TD, it's a close series. Now, I still think the Nuggets will win, but these games are going to be hard to win. Because you know what? Even in game one, the Heat don't go away. What I liked about Heat game one, there were two things the Heat did. Number one, they got back on defense in game one. And number two, the game was quote unquote a blowout. If you watch, the Heat 3-point numbers were really down. But they kept it close, and the Nuggets starters had to stay in the whole game. My point is the Heat are going to make you beat them. And that's a daunting task. And you look at someone like Kevin Love. Aaron Gordon is clearly a better player at this stage of his career. But in a big postseason game, the advantage is not that much. Same with, you look at the point guard position. KPP is a much more physical, better player. But you know what? In that second half, Lowry, I'm blanking his first name, Lowry's first name.
Kyle Lowry.
Kyle Lowry. He's a veteran. He knows what he's. My point is that inexperience of the Nuggets is a factor as well, because they got a lot of pressure.
I agree that they're a wily team. They're a more veteran team.
Yes.
They will not have mental lapses. And that just won't happen. So I think what the Nuggets realize now, so worried no, they got to put these games away before the fourth quarter. They got to now, Zav, if they get a lead, trust me. Now that's what I mean. They're alerted now that the Heat won't die easily. So they're more than capable of getting a lead, but they will not let these leads go. And this will make them a better team. This will make the Nuggets a better team.
If you watch the press conferences, Mike Malone was not a very confident guy. You could see it in him. He was angry and panicking. Oh man, come on guys, this is the finals. The finals. This isn't some scrimmage. You got to play defense. He was throwing his team under the bus. He was a nervous wreck. I think they're feeling it. I feel like they are going to this game thinking it's anybody's game, the Nuggets. I do not think they have the confidence that they had at the beginning. No way.
You know what they got to do? They got to get Aaron Gordon involved early.
It's a lot harder with Kevin Love playing you than it is who'd they start him up?
Gabe Vincent. They had Gabe Vincent.
Exactly. It's much harder. And he's also sitting Zeller now because Zeller didn't give him good minutes game one. I think all of a sudden, where I thought this was going to be where you really thought this was going to just be an easy series, it's going to be tighter. It is going to be tight. The Heat are definitely here, and you could just tell the buzz that this is a good series. Everybody feels right now this is a good series.
Well, I think, Zav, what if Denver wins by like 13 today?
You still feel as though the Heat could come back and win game 4. You still feel that.
I actually think the Nuggets could lose tonight,
Yeah,
and
they
I
can still win their
still wouldn't,
series.
and I still wouldn't feel. I'd feel like they would definitely win the next game. I feel like they can. They're definitely going to get one of these two
I-
in Miami,
Yeah,
which
but
is
it's
really all.
yeah, but TD, you're just suffice. You're giving into the fact that this is a series that they could lose. Before you said this is going to be an easy sweep. This isn't even a competition. You're admitting this isn't the case anymore. This is a series.
Yeah, they it's they're and they real. I think they thought what I thought when they went into the fourth with an 8 point lead,
No, I
and
thought they were
then
struggling that game.
they got that smacked out of them real fast. They got that the same thought I'm saying, I think crept into their heads. In that good I think that third quarter, at the end of the third quarter, they had the wrong mentality.
Yeah,
They got complacent.
but they wouldn't get complacent. You didn't realize that third quarter for them to stay in the game.
See, I'm not this I think it worked.
It
Stop. I
didn't
was
work.
texting. What was I saying in the third quarter? I was saying this is what I've been waiting from Jokic, and this is what all his doubters are waiting for.
No,
Give me the ball and let me
that
take you
TD,
their game,
you
which
do
he
that
was
at the
doing.
end of the game. Him doing it's a
No,
proven
I'm totally
recipe.
fine. I'm totally fine with going for the win in the third quarter. That's what the Warriors have done their whole dynasty. They
You
get
know,
the win in the third, and it
you know who
looked like
else? You know who else who would love to Jokic do that again in the third quarter? You know who would
Spo.
exactly? The Heat would love it if he empties the tank in the third quarter. Jokic can't do that for 4 quarters, TD. He's not going to score 50 points barreling his way to the basket. He was
Hey, it worked.
exhausted.
It
It
worked.
didn't work. He was bad in the fourth. He had
Stop.
nothing. His defense was Swiss cheese.
Stop.
That
It
is
worked in the terms of getting 18 points in a quarter on efficient shooting.
that's not it doesn't matter. He had to empty the tank to do it. And he still had a quarter to left and he had nothing.
Okay, what I mean is Jokic showed he can get points doing it all by himself.
The Heat, no, but the Heat weren't doubling him. They were single coverage. They were being disciplined to stay on their man. They're very happy if he has to play one-on-one and see, they could get the ball out of his hands if they double, but then that opens everything up, and the Nuggets play Nuggets basketball, which is beautiful to watch.
Listen, I thought Joker was impressive. I thought I'm finally he's give me the ball, take me there, and he was doing it. I loved it, and
It
it
was
was working
it
until the
wasn't
Heat won it
working.
in the third.
No,
Your argument is the downside of him scoring 18 and a quarter is that it gasses him for the fourth. That's your
and it
philosophy.
takes the other players out of the
I
game.
don't think they lost because Joker was tired in the
Yes,
fourth quarter.
well, that's where you're wrong. They did. He had nothing. There were so many offensive rebound. He didn't TD. If he's not running with the ball when he gets a rebound, if he's not playing defense, they're not winning. They need Joker to be Joker, a dynamic player, not a tired guy who walks the ball. TD, the Heat love it when he walks the ball slowly up the court and they get to get back and set their defense. If you watch that second quarter, Nuggets basketball, especially at home, is pushing the ball, getting out on the wings, and raining shots, having it with what the announcer said, an avalanche. The momentum, that's what they love.
Oh yeah, they're a better team. When Jokic is passing, they have like an
But he
800%
likes to
win.
push the ball. When he's tired, the Heat love that. They get to set their defense, set their zone, and score. So listen, I think we got a series now. I'm still sticking with the Nuggets, obviously, but these games now, I really look forward. The vibe of the series has definitely changed. And even you admitted it.
I think a lot of this could be a prisoner of the moment, just like last year's finals when
Just
the
like you were a
Celtics
prisoner of the moment after game one or before the series.
stole a game, and then it was all downhill after that. Those guys never hit another three, and I think Duncan Robinson, he's out of bullets. He's out of bullets.
Then Gabe Vincent's going to hit. Caleb Martin hasn't had a good game yet. This is how dumb can you be? The one thing the Heat have done all playoffs is hit threes. You are an idiot if you think, oh, they're out of bullets.
Not in game one, tough. What's up? In game one, Strus and I think Vincent went like 1 of 15.
How'd they do
and they
game?
lost the game.
How'd they been doing all
Then
playoffs?
they hit him, but they
How
don't
they
hit
been
him
doing?
every game.
How have they been doing all playoffs?
When they hit their threes, they win. When they miss them, they lose.
And what have they been doing all playoffs? Have they been winning or losing?
Well, they lost game one.
And overall, what have they been doing?
Well, obviously winning
Thank
in
you.
the final.
Enjoy the game tonight.
Live by the three, die by the three.
Enjoy the game tonight. Your sweep is on a broom, gone.
By the way, you sound like you're picking. You can't play both sides of the fence.
I'm picking the Nuggets, but I admit this is, I said Nuggets in 5 or 6, and I'm sticking with that. But these games are going to be good games. It's not this blowout you were talking about.
Let's talk in a few hours. 13-point win tonight, Denver.
You've already been proven a fool. Bye.